Hello. So today we're going to talk about this book called Repossessed, okay? From the cover, it looks more interesting than it actually is. I'm going to get into the bad reviews because it was not a good book, okay? And when I read it, I just think about how this is supposed to be the life of a teenage boy and how this is why through socialization, they say men are socialized to see women as objects and just tools for their pleasure, and that they don't care about women as a person. And this is also why asexuality is common amongst women. Like, it's more easy for women to identify as asexual than it is for men, because we keep pounding this idea that to be a man is to just think about sex and that's it all the time, and that's normal. And I just don't think it's normal, y'all. I really don't. I just think this kid is just a disgusting person. So let's go. Review number 1. This book isn't bad, but it isn't great either. There isn't much of a plot to it, and it can be very hard to follow at times. It's just about a demon taking over a teen's body and wanting to have sex with a girl, but then having to kill himself. I would really recommend this book. I wouldn't recommend this book to anyone. There are much better things to read. Okay. Interesting premise, but way too much inside a boy's mind thinking about sex. The ending lacked something essential. Loved it, but I was kind of like, ew, all the bodily touching and lusting for that girl. Wow. This book isn't bad. It's not great either. I was really excited to read this book. The Other Side has always been very fascinating to me, but I was very disappointed by this book. I thought that the fallen angel would have been more interesting. Instead, he seemed only concerned with having sex with a girl from school. I did not enjoy this book because it tried to make a funny book, but the plot was actually very boring. The story follows the life of a demon who goes on vacation in a young boy's body, and he tries to do all the different things he can do in his current real-life state. One of these things was having an intimate relationship with a girl at the boys' school. The way that the author portrayed this did not seem funny, but rather made me feel uncomfortable, because all I could see was the older author and that the demon is an older man, I would think, when he died. The story also has many points where the boy throws himself upon the girl and the girl asks for him to stop, and the author never remarks at him raping her, but rather just tries to make it seem funny that he doesn't understand how humans interact. Overall, I would not recommend this book unless you like creepy and uncomfortable books for all the wrong reasons. I found that one to be funny. Someone recommended this book to me. This is a 4-star review, saying demon gets a body, immediately masturbates. I'm sold. I really enjoyed making Curiel, ain't all it's cracked up to be. The very touch with the cat thing was cute, funny. I think I should spend more time with my family. What was that review? Okay, so that was just some of the comments about the book. And then I'm gonna get into the thing with the girl. So firstly, this was a boring book. Basically, we don't know why the guy entered the body other than it was a fallen angel who was bored of working in hell, and a demon, whatever. And it doesn't like being called demon, so whatever. But this thing is very old and experienced, as it does point out that. But let's just go into 3-4 parts of the book, okay? And this is okay. That whole process never made sense to me. The whole time they behave as though they're ashamed of their bodies, something. So he goes into the shower. This is page 21. And he's like, I never knew how soothing, how voluptuous running water could be. As I stepped into the shower and pulled the curtain behind me, I began to feel a delicious excitement. Sean's body parts felt it too, and they began to fill up with anticipation. They knew what I was about to do to them, and I did it. Oh boy, I did it. When the shower was over, I was gasping, and Sean's heart was racing. I couldn't see why humans didn't do it even more often than they did. So he's talking about masturbating and sex. Heck, I would have wondered why they didn't do it all day long if I didn't know there are other parts of the psyche that need fulfillment besides sexual drive. However, I could now understand why this feeling have given rise, pardon the pun, to more obsessions than any other aspect of human existence. So again, to me, this is the idea that, like, as humans, we're supposed to only think about sex, and that's what he's basically trying to say, and there should be no other obsession greater than sex. I had also decided that I probably should have started with a different body. Now I wanted to try sex with another person. So he gets into this teenage boy's body, and then he decides he wants to have sex with somebody, right? I already knew what sex was in great florid detail, but now I was determined to feel it. First lesson learned, knowing doesn't hold a candle to doing. Sean had no common sexual partner. He had no sexual partner whatsoever. Worst of all, he had no prospects. He was heterosexual, but had no girlfriend and no friends who were girls. I wished I picked someone who was already having regular sexual activity. Okay, let's get Sean a girlfriend. And he says, I try first. He wants to have sex in Sean's body, and he's gonna try a girl first, which is normal vaginal intercourse between male and female. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the girl he chooses. So now I just wanted to have a go. This is page 59, 58. Now I just wanted to have a go at sex in Sean's body without creating any bad feelings whatsoever. Perhaps Lane wasn't the best option. I thought about the large-breasted girl Sean liked. No, unfortunately for Sean's taste, she wasn't an acceptable candidate. Even if I was wrong, she didn't know who Sean was, but I felt sure she would think him beneath her. So Sean can't get girls because he doesn't look the part. And even in the book, he says Sean doesn't look good. And again, they're trying to, like, get this idea. So, for example, he starts dressing in new clothes that Sean's mom bought him so that he can attract girls, right? It's normal for a teenage boy to take a sudden interest in his appearance. And did you hear him lifting weights? So he tries to get Sean to lift weights to become more muscular so girls will want him. And then he wears better clothes. And the dad's like, oh, hey, this is normal. And then the mom is like, it's a girl, Jason. Sean is interested in a girl. And then the dad asks, who? I don't know, Sean mom said quietly, but I have a good guess. And then he says, lady, I thought as I shut the door behind me, it's a mercy that you don't have a clue. So, yeah, anyway, there wasn't a lot of options for Sean. A few girls at school seemed sexually adventurous. I knew who they were, but they didn't know Sean, and I wasn't sure they'd want him if they did. He certainly hadn't been very attractive to females so far. In this body, I did not have access to prostitutes. Rape was not a consideration. No, Lane Hindenburger would have to do. And so then he sees this girl, and he's like, I saw her, and I was hit with a flood of lust. The mind is an odd, flexible, living thing. I had never seen Lane, not through physical eyes, but now I imagine her naked. Her ample hips, her small blah-blah-blahs had never been touched by anyone except herself. Her willingness to be splayed in various positions by Sean. If she really knew Sean, she wouldn't like him very much. He didn't seem to have much to recommend him, but I liked her tremendously. I liked the way she treated her family, unlike the way Sean treated his. I liked her interest in the things she learned in class. I liked the way she tried new ethnic foods.